The Mafia boss's car splashed her with water. 30 minutes later, she was dry in his private suite. But, my family, before I tell you this story, I need you to do something for me. If you love stories that pull you in, stories that make you feel every emotion, stories that stay with you long after the video ends, then like this video, share it, and hit that subscribe button, because here on this channel, we are not strangers. We are one big family, and every story we tell is made with love, care, and heart. So drop a comment below, even if it's just a heart that I read every single one. Now, are you ready? Because this story will stay with you. The worst night of her life. It all started on a cold, heavy night in the city. A night that felt too long, too cruel, too empty, especially for someone like Luna Ferraro. Luna was only 22. A quiet girl with tired eyes and a soft heart. Working late shifts at a small Italian restaurant that barely paid enough, she was the kind of girl who tried her best, even when life didn't treat her kindly. The kind of girl who smiled at customers, even when her feet were burning and her stomach was empty. But tonight, her smile could no longer hide the truth. Her parents were gone. Her friends? She had none. Her ex-boyfriend had tried to use her kindness against her, so she walked away before he ruined her completely. Luna had nobody. No home waiting for her. No voice calling her named. In a warm light in the window. Only the rain, the cold, and herself. When she stepped out of the restaurant after her shift, the sky broke open. Rain poured down in heavy sheets, soaking her thin uniform. Her cheap umbrella bent backward in the wind. Her hair stuck to her face. Her hands were freezing. She whispered to herself, "Just get home. Just a few more blocks." Her voice cracked. Nobody heard. Nobody ever did. And as Luna walked down that dark street alone, with her heart heavy and the world colder than ever, a black car, a car she didn't even see coming, was speeding toward the puddle beside her. She didn't even have time to move. The car didn't slow down. It sliced through the puddle beside her, and the water exploded upward like a cold wave crashing straight into Luna's chest. In an instant she was soaked. Her hair, her uniform, her shoes, everything drenched with freezing, dirty rainwater. She gasped, stumbling back, too shocked to even speak. For a moment she just stood there, shivering, blinking through the water dripping down her face. And then, the impossible happened. The black luxury car stopped. Right there, in the middle of the street. Its brake lights glowed through the rain, sharp red against the darkness. The door opened slowly, and a man stepped out. Tall, sharp, controlled. His presence alone made the air shift. Adriano Enzo. The man people whispered about. The man whose name made grown men swallow their fear. He didn't look rushed. He didn't look surprised. He didn't even look bothered by the rain hitting his expensive suit. He just walked toward her, steady, calm, focused. "Are you hurt?" His voice was deep but smooth, almost too gentle for someone with his reputation. Luna shook her head, though her teeth were trembling. She couldn't hide how cold she was. Couldn't hide the way her soaked uniform clung to her skin. Adriano took one look at her. One real look, and something in his gaze changed. The coldness softened. His jaw tightened with guilt. "This is my fault," he said quietly. "I shouldn't have been driving that fast. I'm sorry." She tried to say, "It's okay," but her voice cracked. She was freezing, shivering. Her fingers were turning numb. Rain kept pouring. Adriano stepped closer, lowering his tone like he didn't want to frighten her. "You'll get sick if you stay out here." Luna shook her head again. "I'm fine. I just need to get home." He looked at her like that answer wasn't acceptable. Not for him. Not tonight. "No," he said firmly but not harshly. "You can't walk like this in this weather. My private suite is just 1 block from here. You can warm up. Change into something dry. I'll take responsibility." Luna froze. A stranger inviting her somewhere? A powerful man. A man she didn't know? She hesitated instantly. Anyone would. But the rain hit harder. Her body shivered harder. And the cold wasn't just uncomfortable. It was painful. Adriano didn't push. He didn't grab her. He didn't move closer. He simply waited, watching her with a level of patience she didn't expect from a man like him. "Please," he said softly. "Let me make this right." Luna swallowed hard, her breath shaky, her body shaking even more. She didn't trust men. She didn't trust anyone. But she trusted the rain even less. And she couldn't ignore how exhausted, cold, and miserable she felt. So with a slow, hesitant nod, she whispered, "Okay." Adriano stepped aside slightly, giving her space, and opened the back door for her. No pressure, no rush. Just a powerful man trying to fix a mistake he never meant to make. And just like that, the moment that would change both their lives had begun. That he led her into the car, and the drive was short, silent, and strangely calm. When they stopped, Luna stepped out and realized she was standing in front of a towering building with dark glass windows and guarded doors. Adriano walked beside her as if he walked through danger every day, and when the guards saw him, they straightened instantly, nodding with respect that almost felt like fear. Inside, the elevator scanned him without him touching anything. Hidden cameras followed their movement. Two men in black suits stood in the hallway, silent and alert, watching everything. Luna's heart thumped harder with every step. This was not a normal place. This was not a normal man. And when the elevator opened to his private floor, the suite itself looked like another world. Cold marble floors, expensive art, floor-to-ceiling windows revealing the entire city glowing in the rain. The air smelled clean, sharp, expensive. Power. That was the feeling. Power everywhere. Luna looked around slowly, realizing she had just walked into a place people whispered about, but never saw. A place owned by someone important and possibly dangerous. Adriano noticed the fear in her eyes. His expression softened. Without a word, he grabbed a clean towel from the shelf and placed it near her, gently, like he didn't want to scare her. "You can use the bathroom," he said in a calm voice. "Take your time. No one will come in." His tone wasn't demanding. It wasn't cold. It was almost respectful. And that confused her more than anything. Men with power rarely gave kindness. But Adriano gave her space. He handed her warm towels. He placed a clean shirt and soft pants outside the bathroom door, without making her uncomfortable. He ordered food, simple food, warm, comforting, because she looked like she hadn't eaten properly all day. When she finally stepped out wearing the dry clothes, she felt small, nervous, unsure what came next. But Adriano didn't stare. He didn't comment. He just nodded as if saying, "Good. You're warm now." He sat across from her, not too close, not too far. And for the first time that night, Luna felt her shoulders relax a little. They talked slowly, carefully. He asked about her shift. She told him her feet hurt, the customers yelled, and her boss kept overworking her. She didn't complain. She never complained. But the exhaustion slipped through her voice. Adriano listened. Truly listened. Not like a man waiting to speak. Not like a man pretending to care. He sat still, eyes focused, as if her words were the most important thing in the room. When she mentioned having no family, no friends, no one to check on her, something in his expression changed. A flicker. Quick, but real. And when she asked about his life, he didn't lie, but he didn't tell everything either. "I handle business," he said. His tone was steady, guarded. She sensed danger behind those words, but also honesty. He didn't try to impress her. He didn't try to intimidate her. He didn't try to charm her. He was simply real. And that felt safer than anything else tonight. The slow warmth between them wasn't romantic, wasn't intense. It was quiet, human, the kind of connection born from two lonely people who didn't expect company. After some time, Adriano stood and said softly, "It's late. Let me take you home." He didn't let her walk in the rain again. He didn't ask for anything in return. He called his driver. One of the calm, serious men from downstairs. "Take her home," he ordered. "Make sure she gets inside safely." Luna didn't expect him to watch from the window as the car drove away. She didn't expect him to wait for the driver's message before relaxing his shoulders. And she didn't expect to lie in her small, cold room later, wondering why a man like him had cared so much. She didn't know Adriano was in his suite at that same moment, wondering why a girl like her mattered to him at all. From that night on, something quiet began to change, something neither of them planned, yet both of them felt. Adriano started coming to the restaurant where Luna worked, never announcing himself, never drawing attention. He always chose the same corner table, the one partly hidden by the wall, where he could see everything without being seen. He ordered simple things, barely touched the food, and spent most of the time watching the room with calm, sharp eyes. And every time Luna walked past, he lowered his gaze respectfully, like he didn't want to make her uncomfortable. His tips were generous, but never flashy, never disrespectful. Just enough to make her night a little easier. He didn't talk much. He didn't smile much. But his presence alone made the rowdy customers behave. Made her boss act nicer. Made everyone suddenly remember their manners. Luna didn't know he did that for her. He didn't tell her. He didn't ask for anything. He just showed up. Again and again. And slowly, it became a routine. A silent one. A strange one. But one that made Luna feel something she hadn't felt in a long time, safe. But the outside world noticed too. People whispered. Staff stared. Street rumors spread fast. A man like Adriano Enzo, powerful and respected and feared, visiting a small restaurant, watching a young waitress with quiet attention. The criminal world talked about it like a storm waiting to break. Why her? That was the question everyone asked. Why a girl with no family, no wealth, no connections? Why Luna? She didn't know any of this, but she did notice the men who lingered outside the restaurant. Big men. Silent men. Men who never looked at her, but always watched the street. They weren't there to scare her. They were there to protect her. And for the first time in her life, she didn't feel alone walking home. But the mystery only grew. Adriano took strange calls in Italian, his voice low and tight, tension in every breath. Men approached him at the restaurant with fear in their eyes, calling him Capo Enzo, their tone filled with respect she didn't understand. And Luna, quiet, observant Luna, could no longer pretend she didn't see it. The guards, the whispers, the fear, the power. One evening, when he finished his meal and stood to leave, she finally gathered the courage to ask, Adriano, what do you really do? He stopped. Slowly turned. His expression didn't change, but something in his eyes did. A shadow. A truth he didn't want to hide anymore. He walked to her table and sat down again, his voice low and steady. In public, I run Enzo Global Holdings, he said. A company with buildings, investments, security branches. All legal. He paused. His jaw tightened. But privately, my family runs an empire. A dangerous one. I was born into it. I didn't choose it. He didn't look at her. He looked at his hands, as if ashamed of something he couldn't change. Being close to me is a risk, he said softly. I won't lie to you. I won't pretend you're safe around me. If you want to walk away, I'll let you go. No questions. No pressure. Luna didn't speak at first. Her heart thumped loudly in her chest. She thought about her quiet nights. Her empty home. Her life before him. Cold, lonely, unnoticed. Then she thought about the warmth of his suite. His gentle voice. His quiet protection. The way he cared even when he pretended he didn't. And without shaking, without fear, she said the words that surprised even her. I'm not walking away. Adriano looked up, and for the first time since she met him, his eyes softened in a way she had never seen. A slow breath left his chest, like he had been holding it for days. He didn't smile, but relief washed over his face. Real relief. The kind that comes when something fragile finally feels safe. Luna saw the man, not the rumors. And Adriano saw the girl who didn't fear him, but understood him. And from that moment on, they were no longer strangers tied by an accident. They were something deeper. Something neither of them could explain yet. something beginning. From that moment on, their lives began to blend in a way neither of them expected. Adriano didn't smother her, didn't control her, didn't try to change the soft, honest girl he first met in the rain. Instead, he supported her quietly, steadily. He made sure she was safe everywhere she went. His men watched the streets she walked, the bus stops she waited at, the dark corners near her apartment. Not to intimidate her, but to protect her. And Luna, who once lived in constant fear and loneliness, began to breathe easier. She became calmer, more confident. She stood taller at work. Her steps grew lighter, her voice steadier. She wasn't alone anymore, and for the first time in her life, she felt seen. She learned small things about Adriano's world. Never the dangerous parts, never the violent things, but just enough to understand the weight on his shoulders, the responsibility he carried. And he learned something too, that trusting someone didn't have to be painful, that some people cared without wanting anything in return. But the world they lived in wasn't gentle. One afternoon at the restaurant, while she was clearing a table, a stranger approached her. Fast, direct, with a look she didn't like. Before he could get close, two of Adriano's men stepped forward, blocking him completely. They escorted him out without touching Luna, without causing fear, without letting anything escalate. She didn't need an explanation. In that moment, she understood exactly how important she had become in Adriano's life. The thought didn't scare her. It steadied her. Days later, as they sat together in the quiet of his suite, Adriano looked out the window with a distant expression. His voice was low when he spoke. Luna, since that night, everything changed. He didn't look at her when he said it. He didn't need to. If I had to do it all again, the rain, the puddle, the mistake, I would. Every part of it. Luna felt something warm settle in her chest, something she hadn't felt in years, a sense of belonging. Not to a place, not to a job, not to an empty apartment, but to a life that finally felt safe. Months passed, and one evening, the rain returned. Heavy, steady, tapping against the glass walls of his suite. They stood side by side, watching the city blur behind the raindrops. Luna nudged him gently and said, half laughing, "You know, you never apologized for the splash." Adriano's eyes softened in that rare way she'd grown to recognize. "Best mistake I ever made," he said quietly. And she believed him. In the end, Luna wasn't the lonely girl walking home in the rain anymore. She was safe. She was stable. She was valued. And Adriano, the man who once lived in shadows and silence, found peace every time she walked into the room. Two lonely souls who never should have crossed paths, now shared a home, a life, and a calm neither of them had known before. The accident that drenched her in cold water became the moment that brought warmth into both their worlds. The beginning of everything good. And family, if you made it to the end of this story, just know this. I appreciate you more than you think. Every view, every like, every comment, it all means the world to me. You're not just watching a video. You're helping build a place where stories feel alive, where emotions matter, and where none of us have to feel alone. So please, don't forget to like, share, subscribe, and drop a comment below. Tell me, what part of this story touched your heart the most? I read every single message you send, and I carry this whole family with me into every story I create. Thank you for being here. Thank you for supporting me. And thank you for letting me be part of your day. Until the next story, I love you, family.